to Not Made. My name is Rachel, and today's video is going to be all about what I have crocheted lately. It's been probably the past week and a half, I would say. I was going to do a weekly thing, and then this weekend it did not happen. So anyway, it's whatever I've crocheted since the last video. I'm trying to be a little bit more conscious of keeping track of what I've done so that I can make a video compilation like this. So here we go. All right, so I'm going to start with my favorite because I want to put it up here so it's in the rest of the video. But I finally made my first Anchor the octopus. Look at those tentacles, you guys. I can't even. He is just amazing. Okay, and as I will say multiple times, I'm always late on the bandwagon when it comes to the viral plushies and patterns. I just don't normally jump on right off of the bat. And I already knew that this was going to be a very long and exhausting project. So I used the Bernat Baby Blanket Frosting yarn with him. I cannot remember the colors. If you want to know, you can ask in the comments and I will respond. But I thought it worked out so well. It looks like it's supposed to be an octopus. You know how they're so kind of variegated and then they change colors and stuff. So I love how realistic he looks. He's just incredible. And I had such a sense of accomplishment when I finally finished him, because I will say that having to do like essentially 16 pieces just for the legs is tedious. And it's not hard. Like, it looks way more complicated than it actually is. It is not a hard pattern. Maybe it wouldn't be a beginner pattern, I would say, but if you've had at least a little bit of crochet experience, I think you could definitely make a anchor and you could do fine with it. It's just, like I said, it's tedious. I love how the head is all worked into the round, and then of course this part is separate and then it's stitched in. A very unique way of making the eyes. I did use sparkle eyes and not just solid eyes on these. So overall, this has just been awesome. I've had them sitting out all week long so that my students can see them, and I just absolutely love the way he turned out. Now I will say I did not do this pattern perfectly. I don't think all of the tentacles are the same length. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're close enough, right? But I don't know what happened. Apparently I can't count. And when I was making the sucker part of the tentacles, I ended up longer than it was supposed to be. And so then when I went back and I had to make the, top part of the tentacles, things were not matching up right. So I ended up having to just kind of, fudge it a little bit, and then I'd go back through and I would count the stitches on each one of the sucker sections, and then I'd go back and make the top part long enough to match. So anyway, that's on me. It has nothing to do with the pattern. I have no idea. I thought I was counting correctly. I thought I even double checked most of my stitches, but apparently I did not, and I was not willing to go back and redo it to make sure that the stitch count was exact. I mean, octopuses have different octopi, is that right? Octopies. Not octopi, it's just octopi. They have different length tentacles anyway, and I don't think you could even really tell. But anyway, Anchor, and this is by patterned by Humble Child Co. I'm sure everybody who looks at crochet videos has seen my Anchor the octopus. So, but this was one of my most proud makes of the week. All right. Okay, so he's arranged so he can hang out and be part of the action for the rest of the video. But anyway, all right, so the rest of the stuff that I'm making is not this big, but also I'm working on, what's it called? Prep for my market. So I have multiples of a lot of things. I am firmly convinced that doing a lot of smaller items is where it's at, especially in these types of, Christmas markets and stuff, because people oftentimes just want a small $5 or $10 item that they can purchase. I thought about upping the price on my $5 bin, but I think I'm going to keep it at $5, at least for this year, and just kind of see how it goes. I'm going to rattle through these pretty quickly. Some of these are repeat projects, And I'm just going to kind of show you how many of each that I made. So let's start with the $5 items, and then I will talk about them a little bit. Okay, so it is a Christmas market. I was telling a friend that I didn't want to get boxed into making too many items on theme, but I still want there to be enough that it seems appropriate to be at a Christmas market. The problem is, you know, I don't know, one year I did a Halloween market and I made a bunch of, you know, Halloween themed stuff, and it was the worst market ever. You can go back and find that video. It was about 1,000,000 degrees and I didn't even make my booth feedback. It was really, really poorly run. I will not do that one again. So anyway, but then I was stuck with a bunch of Halloween inventory that, you know, that's on theme. So I did bring it to the Christmas market last year just because I wanted to see if it would sell, and actually did sell some of it. So, you know, I mean, I guess people, there's a market for it at any point, but it's just, you know, I don't want a bunch of Christmas stuff hanging on if I'm going to do like a springtime market or something. Anyway, I have made these little gingerbread men. These are a $5 item, okay, and I have a couple different color buttons. Yep, and there's a green one. I will say that the red sparkly buttons are my favorite. Okay, so just for the record, I did put a poll on Instagram and green was winning, so I went and added my vote, so it ended up being a tie. I don't mind the green buttons. I don't know, it just looks a little less Christmassy than the red buttons. And this is the Juicy Couture, whatever, so it is sparkly. Anyway, I don't know if that's even showing up. All right, so I guess I just made 3 of those this week. I thought I had made more. I mean, I have made more previously, so something I'm gonna do tomorrow, I believe, because I have time, is go through all of my current inventory and find out what I have, because I genuinely have no idea. I've been digging through it for gifts throughout the year, and the last market I had was in February or January, one of those. And so I have no idea. No clue what I have. So I definitely need to figure that out first. Okay. Second thing that I made is axolotls. Is this not like the brightest axolotl color ever? This and this guy are both patterns from Stitch by Faye. And like I said, I love her little things because you can see where they are basically the same pattern with just a few extra variations to make it an axolotl instead of a gingerbread man. So I love that because the base pattern is pretty much the same. So I made, okay, so what I'm attempting to do is make 2 axolotls using the same contrasting colors, just opposite. So I've got the greens. You guys have to tell me which is your favorite here. I've got the peachy yellows. Then I have the blues. Okay, what are our favorite axolotl colors? And I've got, the pinks. And then I have 1 purple yellow, and I have not done the complementary color for this guy yet. So that is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 axolotls this week. So that's pretty good. That is a pattern that I can just pick up and make in my spare minutes, like between students or between whatever's happening. And it will, I've got the pattern memorized at this point, so it's easy peasy to knock those out. I love getting those, and they're still so popular. So I don't know if Minecraft is as big as it once was, but everybody who sees them is just like, an axolotl. So I love that. And then we're moving on to some small makes from Poggy's Place. That is the designer. These are called the Critterlings, and I think I showed some in the last pack. I made 1 capybara. I'm gonna make a bunch more of these. I'm running out of these 2 colors of Big Twist Posh, and I don't know if Michaels has these similar colors. I've looked at their stuff, you know, their supposed dupe, and I have not purchased it yet, but I'm using these colors a lot, so I need to go and see if maybe I can grab a couple more, because I feel like capybaras are having their moment in time, or they have been, so I need to make more of these. I've made a few, but that's the only one I made this week. Then I made some chickens, and I've got 2 of the regular flavored chickens, and I have 4 of the Stardew Valley flavored chickens, which, by the way, I've never played it. I'm not a gamer, really, but I've heard they have blue chickens. So I've got those guys right there. These are all going to be in my $5 bin. So I've got those. And then I made one little Highland cow with not Highland cow colors, really. He does have nostrils. You can see that. I just wanted to see what it would look like in this color. Oops. Again, I need, oh my goodness. Yeah, I've got two different types of yarn on here, and it's the one is shedding. It's really hard to see. He does have horns, little white horns, and then his little ears sticking out. So I may make one out of the original color pattern for the Highland cows. I don't know if I'm going to make a lot of these, because with the horns and the ears and the hair, it is a little bit longer of a make than, say, the chicken, you know what I mean, where the wings are just stitched in, the feet are all stitched in. The only thing I have to add on this is just a little surface crochet and then the beak. This one is just a little bit more, and I love the way it looks. Also think I was struggling with this yarn just a bit. This is the same yarn as Anchor. See, he blends in. So I'm going to try it with a different yarn and see if that makes a difference with that pattern. Otherwise, I don't know how many of those that I will do, because they just take a little bit longer. And again, it is only a $5 item. So that was her Critterlings pack. I'm not sure which pack it was. She has a couple now. And then I did go ahead and buy her Christmas Critterlings pack because I wanted one specific pattern in it, and I did tease her on Instagram just to ask if she would separate it out, and I already knew the answer to that. That's of course a no. But it was this little donkey. Look at him. Oh my goodness. Look at how cute he is. Now, I didn't have the right color. It's supposed to be a light gray nose, a dark gray body, and then the black hooves and hair. But I just used white because that's what I had. And I still think he turned out super cute. And then just for fun, I made one with a black nose just to see. I think this one is more authentically a donkey looking, but you know, I mean, seriously, are you kidding me? These are adorable. So I got two of those guys. Again, with the loopy hair, I'm still trying to master that technique. Her patterns are great because she gives lots of pictures, lots of info. There's even some tutorial videos that are linked. And I've watched that video multiple times, but I'm still struggling just a little bit trying to figure out those loops. But I mean, they're in there solid, so I think that I'm getting it. But yeah, that does take a little bit of extra time, but it's just so stinking cute, you guys. I can't even with that. Okay, and then the other pattern that I made from that pattern pack, and I'm gonna be making more, but this is a little, the little Bumble, you know, Bumble from, what is it? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like the old version, the old stop motion version, that Yeti was called Bumble. So I made a couple little Bumbles. I just love the Yetis. I think that they are so cute. It reminds me of the Matterhorn at Disneyland. So anyway, I'm going to definitely be making more of these as well to fill in my $5 bin. But that was it for the $5 items. Now, one thing that I wanted to chat about was, how long does it take you guys to make stuff like this? Because I watch people's videos and they're like showing me these keychains and they're showing me these things, and they're usually bigger than this, and it might be the yarn. Okay, granted, this is Posh, so it's quite a smaller version of like a size 6 yarn. And they'll be like, this takes 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, so is that 10 minutes to work the body and then you don't really add the time for the add-on things? Or is that like 10 minutes from nothing, from just string to this finished thing? Because I have never, not one single time in my life, crocheted anything that fast. Now I know that I'm probably just a slower crocheter, but I don't understand. Like how are your fingers are on fire if you're creating, sorry, bugs. If you're creating these things that quickly, like I just don't get it. It probably takes me at least 20 minutes to make one of these, okay? And they're small, right? They're only a few rows, but like there's stuff you gotta do. So anyway, I should time myself just to see. I'm just curious, are you guys in the camp of, oh, this is like a 10-minute make or a 15-minute make, or are you in the camp of, it just takes me as long as it takes me? So I don't know. Maybe I just need to get faster. I'm not really sure what the answer is or what the problem is there, but I can never make these faster than that. So even though I've got like this pattern memorized for the axolotl, it still probably takes me, you know, a better part of half an hour to get one from start to finish, right? So I don't, maybe I'm underestimating or overestimating the amount of time that I spend on it, because again, I don't always get to crochet a project from start to finish. I seldom get to crochet a project from start to finish because I'm getting interrupted by other things that I have in my life going on. So I should time myself. And actually I did time myself making something this week. I should have written down what it was, because I don't remember. It was one of these small makes, and I think it was right at 27 minutes was what I clocked making it. And I don't remember which one it was. So yeah, maybe I'm just on the slow end of crocheting things. So anyway, that is all of the $5 items that I created this week. I made one that's going to be more than $5, but it actually may end up being a mystery box, because I don't know that I'm going to make a bunch more. I love him. I think he's absolutely adorable. This is a little acorn, and this was by _patterns, and actually it was a free PDF, which most of the time that's you don't get a free PDF with a free pattern. You don't get a PDF. It's mostly just a, you know, like a post or a blog post or whatever. So that was really generous of them to make this as a free PDF. So if you want that, check it out at their website or whatever. Their Facebook or Instagram page is where I found them. That's _patterns. So I think this may just end up being a mystery bag item, because it's probably going to be a one-off for now. This fly. Not because I don't think it's adorable, but again, I have multiple things that I'm using this color yarn for. And because it's a Christmas market, not necessarily a fall market, I love this for a fall market. This guy is just too cute. But I think I'm going to hold off on making a bunch of these. So that's probably going to be a mystery box item. All right, so I got that guy done. And then I made another gingerbread man. This is also a free pattern on Instagram. It's craftfulmade.by.jy on Instagram, and this is a free Instagram pattern. I absolutely think he is adorable. I used the burnt pumpkin color from the Hobby Lobby to make him, and I can get one out of that skein, that small skein, one of these guys, and then with a little bit left over, which I'm going to use in a future make. Okay, so I got that guy. That was one of the bigger items. And then another one-off is this guy right here. This is a sloth. I had some issues with this sloth. This was by Cherico Crafts, Cherico Crafts. And this is a free pattern. I did not do it completely. It's supposed to have little claws on the end, and I actually changed the way that the feet and arms started. She started it with a chain 7, and I just went ahead and did my version of the magic ring, because I tried doing it and it was not working well for me. I was struggling and it wasn't shaping up nicely. I've done that before. I've done that style before, but I just couldn't get it to work with this, and I didn't want to fight with it for 4 whole limbs. So I just opted to make them round, and then I just did not attach the claws, so the claw part. So this is, I think part of it was this yarn that I used. It was not very forgiving. I like the way that it turned out. I think this is I want to say it was like Bernat Softy or something like that. It's soft, but it's not very squishy. It's like when you work it up, it's almost coarse. I don't know how to, it's very firm. Okay, so it has a lot of structure. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. So if you wanted something that could like sit up or stand up or whatever, this yarn would work well for that. For this one in particular, I mean, I think it looked cute, but it's just it didn't, I don't know, it wasn't turning out the way I expected it to. But I like the finished product. I think it's a cute, adorable sloth, and I'm definitely going to be bringing it to the market, but I'm not going to be making another one of these for this particular market. I might make another one another time with a different color, different type of yarn, just to see if it works up differently. But again, I can't remember on the pattern if you sew on the arms and legs or if they're stitched in, but I stitched them in because I don't like sewing on appendages. I just don't. Like, if it can be stitched in, I'm gonna stitch it in. So even if it starts with the pattern with the head or body or whatever, I always go forward and try to find the arms and legs or whatever other body part there is and see if I can make those first and then stitch them in. So it's kind of fun. It's, you know, it's floppy. I like the little floppy limbs, and I think that people will find him to be cute. So he's definitely going with us to that market. But anyway, that is it. That's all I got for this week. And I feel like that's plenty. I feel like that I'm quite accomplished feeling having all of these things done. I enjoyed making them, which that's a big part of the process for me. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm just a factory cranking things out. So that's why I was really glad to find the Critterlings, because even though I love the Stitch by Faye pattern, you know, I've done all of her little mods for these, and I wanted something different and the same to bring. I feel like the axolotls, of course, they do great. I keep grabbing this bright green one. It's like, they're like, wow, they're just basically glowing. But yeah, these ones, they're just so easy to make, and they're popular. People recognize them and they like those characters. I'm hoping that the Stardew Valley chicks do well this year, and we'll see what happens. But I would just kind of like to have a variety of things, especially in the $5 range. So I'm gonna keep working through that, and then I will check back in with you in a week or so, probably. I mean, maybe, you never know with me. If you've noticed my very huge lack of consistency, but I'm trying, okay? Because right now I'm in the mode. I'm looking for the patterns, I'm finding the things, I've got lots of ideas flowing, so I would like to keep up with that, but at the same time, I'm not gonna make any promises. But anyway, if you're here and you stuck through it to the end, thank you, and I appreciate you. Put in the comments your favorite little thing, that one of these $5 things that you think is cute or that you think would sell well, or if you have items that you are making in that price point, patterns that you know of, please let me know, because I'm always looking for, like I said, a variety. I don't want to have just a, you know, billion of the same thing. I would like to have people have options, and it's better for me too, you know, because sewing the same exact thing a bunch of times not sewing, crocheting or sewing the same thing a bunch of times can be a little tedious after a while. So I like to shake it up and keep it interesting. All right, I will see you guys in the next one, and y'all have a great day. Bye. So, hang on, homeschool break.